Welcome back to Limbo. Boy, do I have a doozy today. I can't think of a way to build suspense for this, so we're just going to go right into this. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a Dream X Reader fic. Yes, you heard me right. Dream, the professional yapper, allegation debunker, I still have suspicions, and Minecraft YouTuber. I guess. I don't know what possessed me to read this, but here we go. Oh, also, I'm going to avoid making obvious low blow jokes because I don't have a Twitter that he can harass me on, and that's just not fair to him, is it? So, what layers of hell does this belong in? Sixth circle. That's new. I really debated making a video on this fic because, frankly, I don't like or support fics, especially parasocial or sexual ones, about real people. It's like making AI or deep fake porn of somebody. It's really weird, it's non-consensually putting somebody in a sexual situation, and it's just overall uncomfortable. Now, it's easy to say something like, oh, it's just Dream, but that's the exact line of thinking that goes into making like revenge porn or revenge smut. However, I'm still going to be making a video on it because frankly, it's good content. With that little yap sesh out of the way, let's get right into it. I don't like talking about myself, but I feel like this is relevant information for another reason why this makes me so unbelievably uncomfortable. I used to be a big Dream fan, unfortunately. I subscribed to him back before he even had 250,000 subscribers, all the way back when he made his second video on cursed Minecraft gameplay back in August of 2019. I used to watch every stream about the Dream SMP and had notifications set for his videos. I know, cringe. But I unsubscribed about a year and a half ago, so I feel like that makes up for it a little bit. This story takes place around 2021, back before his face reveal and when he hit peak popularity. The story starts with you, or me? Jess. Let's call her Jess. Streaming Minecraft to her 500 viewers when she suddenly gets raided by Dream. After a successful Dream, Stream tweets about the raid and Jess replies in his DMs with a casual, hey, thank you so much for the raid, seriously, it was crazy, much love. Which, you know, pretty typical. I would too. That's kind of huge, that's amazing. That's obviously going to boost a small streamer's viewer count by a lot. But Dream responds with, of course, so you love me, which is just a really weird way to interact with an internet stranger, but Jess chalks it up to be his flirty personality. No comment. Jess jokingly responds with yes, and this horn dog immediately asks for her number, which Jess stupidly gives away. You're gonna see a lot more stupid decisions from Jess as this goes on. Dream then calls her to antagonize her, and they agree to do a Minecraft 1v1 in the Technoblade arena. That wound is still fresh. Anyway, Jess loses, of course, and the next day they stream together with George and Sapnap, and at the end of stream, Jess asks Dream if he wants to be her Minecraft boyfriend. Sorry, the cringe overpowered me there. If it feels like I'm rushing through this, I am. This is a 20 chapter story. It's a lot. It's a lot, guys. Dream FaceTimes Jess immediately after the stream ends, and I just have to describe what he looks like verbatim because holy shit, did the author miss the mark on what he looks like. The first thing you noticed was the hair. It was light brown and fluffy. Then you noticed his eyes. They were emerald gorgeous. Then his nose has freckles that were clustered up at the bridge. And lastly, his lips were full in the prefect heart form. he was gorgeous. Okay, no, but the mention of emerald green eyes just grinds my gears. Every fucking fanfiction character has green eyes. At this point, it would be weird if they weren't green or blue. God, for once, please just have brown eyes, or even better, don't mention eyes at all. I could not tell you the color of any of my friends' eyes. That's for fucking sure. Not to mention, he's described as a demigod when he looks like the troll face. Also, let's not forget prefect instead of perfect. Perfect is not spelled correctly once through this entire fic. It's insane. Anyway, they end up talking about some sappy shit and fall asleep on FaceTime. How did the phone not die? I don't know. My belief becomes hard to suspend at times. The very next day, Dream says that he's going to drive down to Jess's house tomorrow. Remember, they've known each other for 2 days, and they are internet strangers. I sincerely pray that people don't act like this in real life, because that is a lovely way to be abducted. Also, he meets her at her house, which is another big no-no. Always meet somebody at a public space so you can scream if something is off. I'll stop harping. Sorry. They end up going to a restaurant on a date, and after a little heart-to-heart, Jess, being the stupid idiot that she is, invites Dream to sleep in her bed instead of on the couch. Jess, holy shit, you're going to die. The next morning, in Dream's arms, she snaps back to reality and felt rightfully uncomfortable that she slept with somebody she had only met 4 days prior. She realizes that they are moving way too fast and then thinks, well, he's a speedrunner after all. No, absolutely fucking not. Oh, Jesus. That raises a question though. Is that why he likes little... Jesus, all right, sorry. My God. They streamed together that day, and then in the most uncomfortable, toxic relationship scene of all time, Dream picks her up and throws her outside in the pouring rain. Why did he do that? Because Jess beat him at PvP in Minecraft. If this is supposed to be like some hot dominant daddy thing, it does not come across like that. Instead, it feels like a manic boyfriend toxically manipulating his girlfriend. But what do I know? Because they passionately kiss in the rain after this fiasco, and call that suspense because I don't know what's happening. After this, Dream fucks off to take a shower for some reason. This actually happens a lot in the story, and it's another gripe that I have. Seemingly every time the author wants to get a character away for a minute, they'll just say, and they took a shower. Great creativity. Whatever. While he's in the shower, someone knocks at the door. Who do you think it is? The mailman? Food delivery? Maybe it's the police coming after you know who. Nope, it's Jess's abusive ex-boyfriend, Michael. She hasn't talked to in 3 years. After he says, basically, "Aw, sorry Toots, I didn't mean to cheat on you," Jess finally makes a good decision and tells him to fuck off. Michael doesn't like that. He pushes her to the ground and slaps her before a half-naked Dream bursts out of the bathroom to beat this guy's ass. Remember what I was saying about suspension of disbelief? Anyway, Michael scurries off in fear, and Dream and Jess go to bed to recover from this. The next day, they fuck. 5 days. 5 whole days Jess has known Dream. And goddamn, is this chapter descriptive. The only thing that I have to say is broski is not 8 inches. Also, as explicitly mentioned in the story they aren't even officially a couple yet. The comments on this chapter, though, holy shit. I like reading the comments because everyone on Wattpad is clinically insane, and it's like a little peek into what complete and total insanity looks like, especially with the way they say we in y/n fix. But this is bad. Mods, can we kill this guy? The following day, Jess gets a call from a high school friend about a party that everyone from her high school was going to be at, and of course she agreed because what could go wrong? But first, they had to shower. How much does she pay in water bills? This is ridiculous. Jess decides to prank Dream by walking into the shower while he is showering. I am 4 for 5 on Fix with fucking shower scenes. Calm. I'm sure you all know my opinions on shower scenes by now if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, but in case you don't, they are a cheap and dog shit way of getting a sexual scene. It's stupid, and unless you have a very specific kink, it's just sex with the risk of slipping and going to the hospital. Now, admittedly, they don't actually do it. Instead, they leave the shower and Dream fingers Jess in bed. Didn't they have a party to go to? Yes, let's skip to that. At the party, the first person Jess talks to, a friend from high school, immediately starts hitting on Dream, so they move to the kitchen to talk to the person who convinced Jess to go in the first place, Alexis. You want to guess her eye color? I'll give you one guess. Did you say green? Because of fucking course it is. Because somehow fanfic writers are just so horny for uniqueness that they inadvertently make it common. As Alexis is hitting on Dream as well, Jess gets offered a drink by another man, making her second good choice of this entire story. She says no, knowing that the drink is probably drugged, and she pulls the I have a boyfriend card to get him to leave, even though apparently, as once again explicitly mentioned, Dream isn't her boyfriend yet. And the story says, and I quote, "You do not have a boyfriend." Okay, sure. But you slept with him, screwed, and have been all over each other 24/7 since you met him 7 days ago. You are legally married by some definitions. But no, he's not your boyfriend. The thought process is incomprehensible. Anyway, somehow, despite being at the party for what seems to be a whole 5 minutes, Jess is drunk and drags Dream to the dance floor, and the creep from earlier approaches them. He mocks Dream and then makes a move to grab Jess, to which Dream responds by dropping him right then and there with a punch to the face. They flee the scene of the crime to go back home, and drunk Jess tries to coerce Dream into having sex, to which Dream, in a sudden and unexpected turn of events, tells her no and refuses to have sex with her while she's drunk. Nice. It's cool that this fictional version of Dream knows what consent is. Dream leaves the next day, and it's all sad and sappy and whatever, but it doesn't fucking matter because George and Sapnap are flying down to Florida in 3 weeks to hang out with Dream, and Jess is invited. The day before she leaves, she wakes up super exited and drives to Dream's house. They yap for a bit and then go to eat Chick-fil-A, where for the first time, 2 sex scenes in, they say I love you to each other. Oh, and here comes a third. This time, Jess tops Dream and, well, I'll actually read this part verbatim. Quote, "He unclipped your bra and latched onto your nipple, sucking on it. Fuck off. No. Get out of here with that dog. Anyway, generic revolting sex scene later, and we move on. The next day, they need to go and pick up George and Sapnap. The story says that she was, once again, exited to go see them after all these months of online talk, but let's review the tape there, eh? It has been exactly 4 weeks since the Twitch raid. 4 weeks is 1 month. Let's get rid of that S there, eh, author? After they pick up George and Sapnap, they all agree to immediately leave again to go to an Airbnb, not sponsored, by Disneyland, not sponsored. At this point, I'm basically speedrunning the story, by the way. Nothing is really happening in terms of plot or suspense, so skip 2 chapters of bullshit and yapping, and guess what? Another fucking shower scene. God, I can't take it anymore. I'm here to review these stories, but I can't do that if it's all smut. Legitimately, any semblance of a plot is gone, and the story completely revolves around Jess and Dream just slobbering all over each other 24/7. Usually, even in more, let's say, hardcore smut, there's an overarching storyline or some suspense or a problem. But it's just like this day-to-day life thing that really just is not interesting. Then again, I've never really been one for romance novels either, so it could just be a me problem. And finally, right before the end of the story, something happens. Jess gets a text from a guy named Kevin who she met at Disneyland over 3 years ago when she was still with Michael. He says that he noticed she was in the area. How? I don't know. And he suggests that they should meet up and talk. Jess, once again having zero survival instincts as usual, agrees and sets up a time. George and Sapnap are gone by now, by the way. Not that they were vital to the story at all. Anyway, Jess meets Kevin at a restaurant and just guess what he looks like. It's so easy. It's so easy by now, isn't it? If you guessed brown hair and green eyes like every fucking other character, you'd be right. Because, of course, God, I am actually losing my mind. It's finally happening. They chat for a bit, just catching up since it's been so long since the single time that Jess ever talked to this guy previously. And the guy, for some reason, leans over and kisses Jess without warning, catching her off guard, just as Dream is pulling up. This part actually pisses me off, because the next thing Dream does is get mad at Jess, ignore her objections, and then kick her out of his house. Author, I don't know your life, obviously. But here's a little tip. Good boyfriends don't do this. Moreover, they've known each other for now, 5 weeks? That is a hell of a reaction for a married couple, let alone 2 people who weren't even official until quite literally days prior. You're trying to paint Dream as this dream man, pun intended, and yet most everything he does is either neutral, entirely sexual, or actually toxic, with only a few moments of him actually seeming like a good man. So Jess leaves. The next day, Jess talks with George to tell him what actually happened, and she calls Dream later in the day, and brother waits until the very last ring to pick that shit up. Dream had just talked to George, who told him the entire story, and now everything is a-okay, and he begs Dream to move back in with him. 5 weeks, folks. Of course she agrees, ends the conversation, and calls Kevin. Warning, brain rot is about to get really bad in this part. Jess asks why Kevin kissed her, and he immediately apologizes and ends with saying, "I also think I might be gay," and claims that he thought he was before dinner too. So why did you kiss her then? Whatever. Jess says something that is low-key homophobic, and la-di-da, everything is chill now. But once again, it's the comments that really get me here. I simply do not understand Wattpad commenters' thought processes. When Kevin kissed her in the first place, the comments were all like, "I'll kill him, somebody kill this guy, I hate you." And now that he's gay, every single comment is, "Slay, I'm so sorry for being mad at you, I support you." Like, what? He still invaded her privacy, kissed her without consent, and caused her mental anguish. That is technically, by all definitions, sexual assault. Call me crazy, but I don't think that suddenly claiming to be gay is a get out of jail free card. Whatever, Jess forgives him, so I guess it's fine. The story ends at the end of this conversation, and I can finally be done with this stupid ass. Oh my god, there's a sequel. You know what? 10 likes. Only 10. And I'll make a video on the sequel. You get choice in what to torture me with. How nice. Okay, on to my review. If it wasn't painfully obvious already, I hated this shit. Grammar was just horrible, proper punctuation was rare, and many words were misspelled. Often paragraphs were cut off in weird places, and the sentence structure was awkward as well. I'm going to give the author the benefit of the doubt here still, because they openly admit to not proofreading their shit before they publish it, which honestly is valid because I wouldn't want to reread this shit if I wrote it. Content-wise, there was a shaky plot. At least it was in chronological order and there weren't any timescales that didn't make sense, other than the mention of it being months when this entire story is over the time of only 5 weeks. It was written for the parasocial relationship with a famous YouTuber, but I don't even think it was very good at that. Yes, the sex scenes were detailed, but the way Dream is described does not make him seem like a good boyfriend in the slightest. Also, the actions that Jess makes are frankly unrealistic. I really hope that no one would be so stupid as to do what she did. The character interactions were decent, but they were completely devoid of any real value, as any hindrance or help in Jess's life by these characters were completely nullified by the plot blanket laid over her and Dream's relationship. The introduction of Michael was really not important, even though it seemed like it could have been an interesting plot line. But other than demonstrating that Dream is like a strong or loyal, not like other guys' boyfriend, nothing really came of it. I also feel like that exact thing was achieved by the interaction with the drunk guy at the party, so even more reason why he wasn't important. So, my final rating overall is content 6 out of 10. I've read way worse and it at least flowed decently. Readability 6 out of 10. Yes, it was poor, but it was very followable and any mistakes were able to be glossed over fairly easily. Characters 5 out of 10. The characters were variable in speaking style and attitude, but they were generally unimportant besides Dream and Jess. Also, a point has been docked for all of them having green eyes. So the total is 17 out of 30. That was a lot of yapping, huh? Anyway, that's all I've got. Hope you enjoyed the video. I sure didn't. See ya.